There was a time a number of years ago when if someone was going through a really difficult or chaotic time, they would say something like, "I will be so glad when things get back to normal around here." We don't hear that phrase much anymore. Change has become the norm in the 21st century. And we've adopted a vocabulary to help us define the change and explain the change and deal with the change. And part of that vocabulary is the phrase, a new normal. That phrase comes to us from the trauma unit. When someone's been in a major trauma of some kind, a serious illness, an accident, a major surgery, after the hospitalization and they're in rehab, they may discover that for some reason their body doesn't function like it used to. They don't go back to the way they were before. They have to adjust to some limitations they didn't have before, and therapists will call that their new normal. It isn't just trauma that creates the need for a new normal. Any kind of unexpected change, and sometimes even expected changes. Baby comes home. Grandma has to come live with us. The new job is requiring a lot more hours than I expected it to. All these things, some good, some bad, but they require some changes on our part. And things will not go back to the way they were before. We need to develop a new normal. When my daughter was in elementary school and then even in middle school, she was around a lot. Then she got her driver's license. And she was not around nearly as much. Then she went to college and graduate school. And suddenly her visits home are a sweet interruption to the routine. My wife and I have developed a new normal without our daughter being around as much. A new normal isn't a bad thing. It's different from what you're used to. And I wonder if that's exactly what happened when Jesus called those first disciples to come follow him. I'm sure they wouldn't have used that term, and they may not have known what to expect, but what he was calling them to was to look at all their life very differently. And the different way of looking at their life would become the new normal for them. Not just something he told them about, but something that he lived with them. And it became their way of living. This summer, we're going to be looking at the Gospel of Mark and see how Jesus really did live out this new normal that he described as a kingdom lifestyle, and how the disciples coped with it. Sometimes it was tough. Sometimes the change just didn't make sense. But Jesus always knew what he was talking about. I'd like to encourage you to come and join us and discover for yourself what the new normal of kingdom life is about. God bless.